The washer was on a spin. Just waiting for that to calm down now. Reverse thrusts was on. Slow it down. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Bit of an update. We were going to do an update a couple of weeks ago. But what happened was we had a few things changed, didn't we? Over a day, 2 days. I'm not exactly, I'm guessing 2 weeks ago. Roughly about that. We were on the ward one day, we had a busy long day, not a busy long week, busy long 6 months, 6 weeks even. And the plan was we were going to go back to the room that night and do an updated vlog, but we were literally tired, we were worn out. I wasn't in the mood to video, you weren't, and as it turns out, if we had done that video at that point, it would have been incorrect information. We didn't know that at the time. So we refrained from doing the video then anyway. So I know I've done videos before, but we'll take you back to the beginning. Anyway, the accident happened. Our son had a heart attack, he went into cardiac arrest. I took the Durham University Hospital because he had a serious heart issue. They had to transfer him to James Cook in Middlesbrough. He was in the intensive care unit there. So I'm just briefing you from the beginning, really. He left the ICU unit, CIC unit, went down to another ward, which was a cardiology ward. He got his treatment there from the nurses, from the therapeutics. Surprising how many different departments there is in hospitals now. Pharmacists and therapeutics and physios and everything. Anyway, he got to the point where he was well enough to go on to the next stage of his treatment. That treatment was neuro rehab. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's to do with brain injuries. His heart was fine. He still has to take medication for that. But his heart was fine, but obviously his brain wasn't. Now, he was awake. He had all the stuff disconnected from him, the machines, all the things that, helps him physically. He was able to talk, he could have conversations with him, he was able to eat. He was a little bit unsteady on his feet to begin with, but they did a little bit of therapeutics, did a little bit of work on that. Anyway, we're bringing you right up to date now. So it was at that point where we were going to do the update, but there was a few things changing at the time. And what happened was, the next stage of his treatment, like I say, was the neuro rehab. Now, Middlesbrough do have a unit down there for that. But what happened was, we got into this kind of political issue with the postcode, didn't we? The treatment is available throughout the area, but there's certain areas of the northeast don't come under the catchment area for that hospital, James Cook.
The funding, isn't it?
For the funding, yeah. So we had this, well, it was going on for a few days actually. We had this situation where they couldn't put him on, even though he was ready to go on the ward. Dr. Austin was trying his best to bypass it all and get him straight onto the ward, because that was the next stage of his treatment. And it wasn't happening, it wasn't going to happen. Now, the only other option was to transfer him to a hospital in Newcastle, doing the same thing. The problem we had with that one was there was a big waiting list to get on. We were only going off information we were getting told. So we had to, it was a frustrating, even though things were getting better, it was a frustrating time for our son, it was a frustrating time for us as a family. Me and Shell were staying on the residency area in hospital grounds, as you probably know. And they transferred him off the heart ward. He stayed on the ward, but they put him in this private room, this little room where he had his own bathroom and everything. So that was all right up to a point.
The hypoxia and
So we were in this awful situation where it was effectively a waiting room. I mean, he wasn't well enough to go home, and they couldn't transfer him anywhere else. The hospital staff said he was fine to stay there, but the whole waiting around thing was getting a bit frustrating all around for everybody. I mean, the staff were great. But what happened was we had a kind of what we thought was a turning point. We'd gone in one morning, and I mean there was different meetings going on with different departments, and we went in this morning. I think it was a Monday morning, and we basically got given this information. The hospital in Newcastle apparently had been in touch to say that the referral, the next phase of his treatment was possibly going to be quicker than anybody anticipated. A referral was put in for his treatment, so that's basically an application to put him in. It's different criteria, isn't it, depending on which ward you go into in this one at Newcastle. We were told that there was a no waiting list on a certain ward, and there was a bed available. And then it was discharge letter was getting prepared, medications were getting put in place. I was the Monday because
you went home.
We were asking the nurses questions. James Cook were communicating with this hospital in Newcastle, apparently. And it was one of those how long's a piece of string situations, but it was also, the news was positive because they were saying, well, normally when they get things in place like medications and discharge letters ready, normally you're looking at 3 to 4 days. Now, bear in mind, this was the Monday. We were given a rough estimate of he should be off the hospital ward by the Friday, weren't we? So what I'd done was, because we had a fair bit of stuff at the residency, I took some stuff home to make carrying the luggage a bit easier for everything all around. Anyway, I think I'd gone up did I go home on Tuesday? I stayed home Tuesday night. I went back down the Wednesday. So we were thinking maybe Wednesday, Thursday could be our last 2 nights down there. And I can't remember what day it was, but
on the Thursday it all changed again.
But what happened again?
We were meeting on the Monday. I got told there was a meeting on the Monday.
There was another meeting taking place. And
because if they hadn't actually been accepted.
That was the meeting. The meeting was with the one at Newcastle. The staff at the Newcastle hospital had a meeting. The doctors and that up there. This is what, like I say, this is one of what we were told. And then
We got the therapeutics.
Yeah, but we got to the sort of the Friday, and we were thinking, is anything going to happen? And then it seemed to stall. It seemed to like go quiet. Nobody knew anything. And then we went into the weekend again, didn't we? I mean, there was no updated positive news on the Friday that anything was going to be happening.
When we came home at the weekend.
Yeah, no, to a sense. What I'm saying is, like, you build yourself up for the Friday, and then it just, like I said, just went all quiet. Nobody knew anything. Nobody had any updated news. And then it was Saturday, Sunday, and there's a lot of things don't happen on a Saturday and Sunday. There's a lot of certain doctors are not in and specialists are not in, things like that. Anyway, it was a bit of a disappointing moment at that point. Saturday, Sunday passed. We were told there was going to be another meeting on that Monday. And we would hear some news on probably the Monday afternoon, or the meeting was on at 4:30. Well, it was one of the meetings. There was like meetings going on at James Cook and meetings going on at Newcastle. And then emails going backwards and forwards between the medical people and various different departments. Anyway, we got the Monday, got to about 4:30. And the Newcastle hospital wanted some information from you, didn't he? Which you provided through the nurses station at the Middlesbrough. This information was sent. We heard nothing more. Tuesday landed. And then the news changed again, didn't it? This positive move to Newcastle
Wasn't looking positive.
was sort of like dissolving a bit. It wasn't, nobody seemed to know what was happening. And then you decided to phone the hospital in Newcastle yourself, didn't you? Because we were just leaving it to the staff, all the doctors and everything involved. We thought, well, we'll just, they're doing their bit by sorting all this out.
In the meantime, I was on getting told, oh, put more G, put more G.
Yeah.
He was getting signed
Well, we were as well.
We were.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where it was affecting him mentally as well.
Well, it was affecting everybody, but Tuesday you phoned up, didn't you?
No, it was a Wednesday I phoned.
See, I knew I'd be wrong with certain information. Well, whatever day it was, you phoned up, didn't you? And turned out
There was nothing in place.
the ward availability in Newcastle didn't exist, and we were a bit stunned by it all, weren't we? Because you know when you build yourself up to something, and then it sort of just gets took away from you. The hospital in Newcastle, they were aware of the referral, weren't they? They confirmed there was a referral had been put in.
But none had been put in place.
But because we got told, well, that's in place, and they said, no, that's not the case. Who's told you that? So we were like quite deflated. So it was a series of events daily,
Over 2 weeks.
both positive and negative, that have kind of prevented us from doing this update because we couldn't update you on information that wasn't confirmed. Now, don't get us wrong, I'm not knocking the NHS. I mean, the treatment from start to finish has been great. But it doesn't end there because
on the next Monday, we got told it wasn't going to happen at all.
We were left hanging because we knew what the next stage of treatment was. He couldn't get treated at by the new rehab at Middlesbrough. Newcastle was saying they didn't have any information of what was going on. The referral was put in, yes, but it wasn't far down the line, the processes, what they were making out. And we asked the staff at the Middlesbrough Hospital about it. They were giving us their version of it. But you couldn't have their version correct and Newcastle's version correct because the two didn't go together. So I was getting a bit frustrated because I thought, you know, somebody was either taking the mickey, yeah, or, you know, it was having a laugh or something like that. And then
on the Monday they said, oh, my deputy tomorrow, you're going home. And I was like, what?
But then, what happened then? Doctor...
And all more or less said he was fit to go home.
Oh, that was right. Hang on. Yeah, he said he was fit to go home. Anyway, these physio, there's loads of different,
occupational therapists.
Occupational therapists. They'd come in, right? And they had to do 2 things with them. They basically had to, 3 things. They give them these little tests, like written tests to do. I'll give you an example. It could be like a normal clock face, right? And the clock face would show 10 to 3 on the clock face would show 10 to 3 as a picture. The question would be, is this clock showing 3 o'clock? Yes or no? Obviously you put no, and then he had to, with a pen, he had to draw the minute hand in to show the correct time. Just little things like that. And there's a few little questions like what's the capital of the UK? Yeah, just different tasks. He was all right with that, wasn't he? And then there was another test he had to do. One was a kitchen test, and one was a road safety test. And if you know James Cook Hospital, at the front where the main A&E part is, you got the main road, busy main road. And basically with the traffic lights, they did a task of him crossing the road. Was he aware of the traffic, etc. Crossed over one bit of the road, came back. From there, we were with them as well, went into the kitchen, said, oh, we're going to do a kitchen test. The kettle had the exact amount of water in for the size of cup it was.
Already plugged in.
And it was already plugged in, so there was no filling of the water. Anyway, the kettle boiled. Coffee, tipped the water into the cup, stirred.
Not right.
And then he brought it over, put it on the table. You had the coffee. And then we thought, oh, well, there's going to be more things like, I don't know, preparing a ready meal. Like a frozen, even if it was just like a frozen pizza or something, you know, the task of the timings and keeping an eye on things. And
It's all about the brain, isn't it? How the brain was working.
well, none of that worked. And then this doctor come in one morning and said he's basically fit enough to be released. I said, released where? Back home. I said, well, he's not. In your professional opinion, do you think he's safe enough to go home? And reports had been filed from all these different departments. And they said, well, this one's said he's passed that test and this test. He passed the kitchen test. Now I said to the doctor, says, well, they haven't even tried him with any food. All right, okay. And we put that scenario to him. I said, well, you can't pass a kitchen test if you've not prepared a simple ready meal. Because he could forget about the oven being on or whatever. And then he looked, oh yeah, all right, I'll speak to them again, see if we can get another food test done. That didn't happen. And then there was some therapeutics were supposed to come in over the weekend to do some other work on him. They never turned up. There was some, what was the other department called?
Site liaison.
Site liaison. They were supposed to come in Saturday, Sunday. They never turned up. And then all of a sudden it went from, right, he's ready to go home. And then we said, well, what about the hospital in Newcastle? So anyway, like I say, we were stuck in the middle of this mishmash of information, correct information, incorrect information, frustration. We were getting annoyed. Like I say, the NHS are great, and you know the care's been great, but towards the end it was getting a bit, it was just dissolving away into nothing. And then the following morning, you got up and there was a text message came through.
And then he wasn't going to.
Saying that he wasn't going to the one at Newcastle.
Staying in.
There was no
need to go there.
There was apparently no need for him to go there.
He can stay at James Cook.
He can stay at James Cook and go on the facility at James Cook.
And 3 weeks later.
And then, I mean, I don't want to mention any staff names down there, but one of the nurses, one of the top ones that was involved in it all, she just turned around and said, well, I don't know how a hospital in Newcastle, which is not part of this organisation, can decide what's happening down here. You know, nobody's authorised, and apparently they're not allowed to send messages to patients, families and things like that. It's all going to be done through email, through the health system, and so there was that farce, you know what I mean? And
you're high enough, didn't we?
Well, it got to a bit of a sour point towards the end. Like I say, I'm not knocking the medical side of it getting them better, but the reality of it was and is he's not had his final treatment of neuro rehab, which is what he should have got. But like I say, it just got messy. And we couldn't stay on the hospital premises any longer, could we?
Not today.
you know. So it was arranged for him to be discharged. There was medication sorted out, which actually turned out to be
And they might like me.
some of the medication they've given him is actually the medication he shouldn't have gotten. So it's turned into a bit of a towards the end it was a bit of a comedy show, to be honest with you, which I feel awful about saying, but you know, it's not. I don't want to feel like we're doing some kind of NHS hospital review here, but it just went a bit crazy, didn't it, towards the end.
For anybody's sanity, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
They just brought him home.
Yeah.
He's been home about a week now.
Yeah, so he's back home now. But obviously we're taking care of him. We're doing the stuff ourselves. Yeah, so it's frustrating and annoying, isn't it? When you're an automatic timer set off, I didn't even touch the thing. Yeah, so hospital-wise, that's what's happening. That's the update. Something else we want to mention as well. Obviously, you guys have been, you know, super chat donations. Where we said we were going to pay some of that money back to the NHS Trust, and obviously some of the money we've made from the videos, that's also going there. We're in the process now of breaking it all down. Obviously, we've got our, you know, the money donations that you guys sent. Fantastic, thank you so much. Very kind of you. We've got that calculated, and then we've got to work out what each one of those videos is made. But we haven't, obviously, our hands have been full. We've been doing little bits of videos down in Middlesbrough, and I've been doing a couple since we got home. So we're just trying to keep that YouTube video flow going as best we can, whilst at the same time doing this update video for you. I'm sorry if I've sort of babbled on a bit too much, but it's trying to explain it all without turning into a life story, if you know what I mean. So I hope that makes the picture a bit more clearer for you, as a viewer, as friends, as, you know, followers, whatever you want to call yourself, subscribers. So yeah, we're sort of working on the money side of it now, and once we're clear with that, because we can't give you figures at the minute, but once we're clear with that, we'll either do another little video or we'll put something on the community post or whatever, and then we'll figure out what we do after that. So yeah, that's it. Anything I've missed off? So I brought you up to date with the hospital situation. He's back home. Way back home. Well, you've been staying with him all the time, and I've been popping down, because it doesn't really need to be both of us there, just as long as, you know, I'm up and down through the day as well, so doing bits of things. On this year, I don't know why I've done that with my arm. Why couldn't I have just done that? What do you reckon? Drop it in the comments. Do you prefer that ear scratching technique, or do you like that one? So anyway, update. Thank you to everybody that's kept in touch with us and asked how things are and sent you love and, you know, your donations and things like that. Really appreciate it. We are in a... Is that your phone or mine?
Oh,
My old one. So yeah, that's, like I say, what's happening. What's going to be happening next? No idea.
We're supporting them ourselves at the moment.
Taking it day by day.
Getting some support coming in.
Well, I mean, I know it's an awful thing to talk about, but if there's any of you lot out there that have been through a similar experience that we feel as though we've been let down towards the end. He hasn't received that final segment of treatment, and here's another one for you and all. I want to keep the camera rolling, right? I want to say this and all. This makes me really peed off. On his discharge letter, and I am not joking with you, right? on his discharge letter, it says that he's received neuro rehab, right? And I couldn't believe it when I read it. It has all of the stuff, and there's loads of information in the discharge letter that's incorrect. I mean, like the kitchen test, he was never tested on food. Because I said to the doctor, what happens if he goes home and...
safely, you know.
That's a load of...
Anyway, I'll let you go here.
I know you've got to go. I'm finishing the video, 2 seconds. Extra time. So yeah, it says in his discharge letter that he's received... No, it's in words. He's received neuro rehab. What an absolute load of rubbish.
A kitchen test, make a cup of coffee.
Oh, what? Nah, not good enough. Not good enough. Sorry, NHS. I know you're a fantastic organisation. You've done a great job, but there's a lot of things within these systems you need to look at,
And communication high.
including parked cars outside of hospitals. Yeah, blocking pathways for wheelchairs. People parked in ambulance bays and all. This woman, and honest to God, we walked up the north entrance, right? And this car was parked on the curb. And we had the lad in the wheelchair, didn't we? And we said, as she was walking in, we were walking out. And I said, look, this is a bloody car blocking the path again.
Yeah, you said, I am not a wheelchair.
Again for the 50th time. She says, I'm glad I'm not pushing somebody around in a wheelchair. I would be complaining myself. And she went, well, I shouldn't be saying much, should I? Because I'm parked in an ambulance bay.
Okay.
And I looked across and she had this big, what do you call them, not a 4-wheel drive, what do you call these, RVs or something? Like a big, not like a Range Rover, you know, they got these big, there's a big car, wasn't it? It was about the size of an ambulance. She had it parked in the ambulance bay. Clearly, anyway, I'm not going to get started, I'll end up losing my rag. Anyway, that's what's happening. That's the update. Right? Give you a quick wink towards the end. Shell, lift your glasses up, another wink, come on. Yeah, double winks, yeah. But give me your glasses. Hang on, I'll put Shell's glasses on as well. Oh, can't see a bloody thing. Yeah, there you go, and I'm back. Anyway, you lot take care. And we'll try and pump out some different content as the days roll by. And I'm bye. Bye-bye. See you soon.